Test.
Drop it. Drop it.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? How is everyone doing? Welcome to another episode of the Niner Sickness Podcast. I am your host, Beto. Welcome to my show on a Thursday. Just real quick, I'm going to be going live on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays on my own at 8 p.m. for those 3 days. And then on on Tuesday, I go as a co-host with Ryan, Bashar, and Mariah. Then on Wednesdays, I go on with Pete. And then on Fridays, I go on with Jess. So Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you will see me solo at 8 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard every week, God willing. How's everybody doing? We're going to talk 49er football. We're going to say hello to the chat. The chat is popping. We're going to get right down to business right after this. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Let's say hello to the chat. We got Roberto Davis in the house. What's up, Roberto? Welcome to the chat, my friend. We got Crazy Guy in the house. What's up, Crazy Guy? We got John in the house. What's up, John? We got my girl Dawn in the house. What's up, Dawn? We got Daniel Cantu in the house. What's up, Daniel? We got Luis Moreno in the house. What's up, Luis Moreno? Real quick, yes, make sure to not to forget to smash and hit that like button for your boy Niner Sickness. I would appreciate it very much. How's everybody doing today? I hope everyone is doing well. As for me, I am chillaxing. I'm using a different camera today, and I'm trying to get the colors. I don't like this camera. I might go back to my original one, which is this one here. This is the one that I normally use to go live. This bad boy right here. But I'm trying this one here. This is the 5100. This is the 6400 with the Sigma 1.4 lens. Am I coming clear? Am I too orange? Please, this is the time for you guys to be completely honest with me. Am I too orange? Am I too bright? Is it too bright? Am I too dark? I'm trying to figure out the ISO, the f-stop, and the shutter speed on this particular camera. So let me know. All input is welcome. What's up, Sickness and all the faithful? What's up, Luis? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. I saw your Overcomers documentary on Instagram, and I am very sorry to hear all that pain you had to go through. I appreciate that very, very much. But it's part of my testimony. And, something that I have to continue to endure. But it made me the person that I am today. Give me a second. Camera overlay. Where's the camera effects? Let's see here. Adjust it a little bit. What about that? Is that okay? Is that better? If you guys can't see me, I'll go ahead and give you the little rotation. Whoa. What's going on right there? What is going on right there? Let's see, too bright. So hopefully I adjusted it down a little bit. Looking crisp and clear, Beto. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Why does Nick Bosa look like my favorite Monster Jam driver? What the? Fuji? Good. Okay. Good. Not Niner related, but Dan Snyder, the worst owner ever, finally sells the team for $6 billion. Just $6 billion? I knew I should have bought the team. I should have bought the team. It's like, what is $6 billion, right? It's like, $6 billion? Ain't nothing. I can make that in my sleep. If I lived 5 times over in this life, I probably wouldn't even see 1 million, much less, well, I shouldn't undershort myself, but yeah, 1 billion, it's a lot. 6 billion? Wow. It must be nice to be able to buy a team for that much, huh? And I'm glad that Snyder is out. I am glad that Snyder is no longer in the business. Because that Snyder is a joke, man. He is a joke. For sure. He is a joke. And I'm glad he sold it. The whole situation with John Gruden, Daniel Snyder, and the commissioner, Roger Goodell, is just crazy, man. It is just crazy. I'm glad he sold it too, man, because that's some shady business, man. I understand that it was a private email and it was meant just for 2 individuals to talk. Now, am I condoning racism? Absolutely not. Was it wrong for John Gruden and Snyder to be having this conversation? Absolutely, yes. But let's be clear on one thing. How many of us, and again, I'm not condoning in any shape, way, or form any form of racism, but how many stuff that we say amongst each other, amongst friends, that if it doesn't get to the public, nobody really knows? And I'm not saying that it's okay either, because if they're talking, when it comes to racism, if they're talking like that amongst themselves, then that means that's who they are, right? That is who they are. Because they say that the gloves fall off when nobody's watching. That you really begin to truly show your colors when nobody's looking. So if nobody's looking at them and it's just a conversation between Gruden and Daniel Snyder, or the general manager at the time of the Commanders, should they be having that type of conversation amongst each other? But I am so glad that's behind us. I am so glad that we are able to move on. There should not be no discrimination. I don't care what color you're at, what weight, what height, whether you're nice looking, bad look. It doesn't matter. What they should look at is the integrity of an individual. What is a person's integrity? Is the person easy to get along with? Nothing should ever be based on the color of skin or what size they are. Or, I never understood the hate. But this world, unfortunately, has a lot of hate. And it's even trickled down to the 49ers. Amongst the content creators and a lot of the fans. If you like Brock Purdy, then you hate Trey Lance. If you love Trey Lance, you must hate Brock Purdy. And I never understood that concept. I like both quarterbacks. I am not high on Sam Darnold because of what I've seen and the track record that he's shown, that he can throw a lot of interceptions. But I am not opposed him getting fixed, if you will, under Kyle Shanahan. In other words, if Sam Darnold comes into training camp, puts his head down, works hard, limits his mistakes, doesn't turn the ball over that much, comprehends and grasps the offense of Kyle Shanahan. And let's say, worst case scenario, okay? He becomes the starting quarterback. And he wins games. Is that such a bad thing? Is the hate for Sam Darnold so big that you cannot picture him being successful in a Niners uniform? Because I've talked to a lot of Niner fans, and I get the impression that they want to see him fail. There ain't nothing better than seeing Sam Darnold fail. So I asked the question, if you call yourself the faithful, if you call yourself a 49er fan, why would you want Sam Darnold or anybody to fail? Why wouldn't you want them to be successful? Why wouldn't you want Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, and even Brandon Allen to be successful in this system? Just because one player may not be your cup of tea, just because you don't like Sam Darnold, maybe because he went to USC, or maybe because he was trash with the Jets and threw all those interceptions, you just don't like Sam Darnold. So you develop this idea that I don't want him to be successful. He's trash. But if he's wearing the 49er uniform, if he's striving to be better, to make the team better, why is there so much hate in his success? Why can't we root for whoever earns the spot behind center and support, whether it's Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, or Brandon Allen? Why does it have to be your favorite quarterback or no one else? Why do you have to have a favorite quarterback? And if that happens to be Trey Lance, ain't nobody's good enough to win a championship but Trey Lance. I'm not saying we can't win with him. What I'm saying is, why can't we win with Sam Darnold? Why can't we win one with Brock Purdy? And why can't we win one with Trey Lance? Which quarterback brings the best out of that position to give us the better chances of winning our 6th Lombardi trophy? What's going on, Senor Luke Luna? Is in the house. Is if Sam becomes what they thought Lance would be, I'm all for it. If it's Lance, I'm all for it. If it's Brock and keeps playing like he was, I am all for it. Boys, just ball. And I am all for it. Couldn't be said better than that, my friend. Could not be said better than that. That deserves a... That deserves a hand applause. Why? Because why not support? Why not support the quarterback that is available to try to make this team win a championship? Why not support that quarterback? It's our team and best team in red and gold. Absolutely. Team should always be first. Team should always be first in your mind. It is the team first, then your favorite player. We all have favorite players, right? Whether it's Joe Montana in the past, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Roger Craig, whether it's Garrison Hurst, Ronnie Lott, Merton Hanks, Guy McIntyre, Harris Barton, whoever, Brent Jones, Vernon Day, whoever, Patrick Willis, whoever your favorite player is, that is great. As a fan, it is nice to have favorite players and support them and want them to do their best when their opportunity presents itself. Nothing wrong with supporting a individual player. And there's nothing wrong with that. I got jerseys of a lot of players, past and present. I loved Christian McCaffrey. I support him. But I don't put him above the team. I love Frank Gore. Frank Gore is arguably one of the best running backs to ever put on the 49er uniform. I have a lot of respect for Frank Gore, but I will never put him ahead of the team. I love Joe Montana, the GOAT, 4-time Super Bowl champion quarterback, but I will never put him over the team. When Joe Montana was traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, even though it broke my heart to see Joe Montana go to Kansas City, I rallied behind Steve Young. Because now, even though I love Joe and I respect Joe, Joe is now part of another team. So I rallied behind Steve Young as a fan. But I remember a lot of my friends, a lot of people that I knew or talked to back then, they jumped ship. They left and became Kansas City Chief fans while Joe Montana was there. And they justified it with, well, I'm a hardcore. I support my player. But do you support the team? It doesn't mean you have to agree with what your team is doing or not doing. It doesn't mean you can't criticize Jed York or Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch. You can criticize them based on what they have done and haven't done. But I support Kyle Shanahan as my head coach. I support John Lynch as my general manager. And I support Jet York as the owner of the team that I love. Does it mean that I will agree with them and everything they say and do? Absolutely not. I am entitled to my opinion based on what they're doing or not doing. But at the end of the day, I still have their back. Look who it is, my little sister. We got royalty. We got royalty in the house. What's up, Melissa? Good to see you, my friend. Let's see here. Give me a second. Beto, exactly. Even beyond supporting it's trusting the coaches because they see things, they see guys more. I trust that the right guy to win games absolutely will be put on the field. Listen, perfect example, okay? Perfect example. Last year, we were going through the offseason of last year, right? We were going through that offseason. We knew that our center was retiring. So we assumed as Niner fans that the Niners were either going to bring a hot ticket free agent at the center position or at the very least go and draft a prospect to play the center position for the San Francisco 49ers. And when Niners did neither, they did not get a free agent center. They did not draft a high center. A lot of Niner fans were upset. What the hell is Kyle thinking? What the hell is Kyle thinking? What is John Lynch doing? Those guys, those knuckleheads, they don't know what they're doing. They should get fired. But they had their eyes on Jake Brendel. Okay? Jake Brendel, he's not that popular guy that everybody looks at. He's not that famous center. Okay? So people tend to look at those players that have big names. But Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, and Forrester were looking internally. They've been working with Jake Brendel. They seen his capabilities, what he could and couldn't do. And they saw that they can develop him into a center. They saw that he would do good. And what did they do? They went with Jake Brendel, and a lot of 49ers went crazy. They went crazy because of the notion that instead of bringing a free agent that the 49er fans would like, or at least recognize, they were mad because we didn't draft a center. How did Jake Brendel work last year? Now, was he the best center? Absolutely not. But was he the worst? Absolutely not. He was an alternative, I don't know if I'm saying it right, to the Pro Bowl. Not the first, but the second to the Pro Bowl as a center. And he looks like we have our center. So I bring all that to say this. This offseason, we're going through something similar, but at a different position. Mike McGlinchey left in free agency. Here comes Colton McKivitz. And again, I'm hearing the same things that I heard about the center position about the right tackle. Oh my God, what are the Niners doing? Oh my God, they did not draft a tackle. They did not bring a tackle in free agency. Oh my God, what's happening? The same crap that I heard last year about Brendel, I'm hearing it all over again about McKivitz. Why don't we see how McKivitz plays this year? If McKivitz sucks and he truly just not the guy that we thought he would be, then you can criticize Kyle. Then you can criticize John, and you can just nail them. But give them the opportunity to fail if that's what's going to happen. Because they might just surprise you. Just like Jay Brundo surprised a lot of us. Colton McKivitz just may surprise you and probably play better than Mike McClinchy ever did. And then we're like, okay, well, hold your criticism. Hold your attitude. Allow McKivitz to play. People are calling McKivitz a bust. What are they doing putting someone there? What are they doing putting him there? What are they thinking? What are they thinking? This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing among the Niners. We're going to get crushed at the right tackle. Maybe you're right. But maybe you're wrong. Maybe Colton McKivitz just shows up and shows out. Let's not hit the panic button too quickly. Okay, history has shown us that they have made the right decision. How many of you guys are worried that the Niners are either going to sign or are they going to lose Nick Bosa? Let me ask you that question. How many of you think that Nick Bosa will not sign a contract with the Niners and leave? Not what you want. I don't want to know what you want. No, I want him here. That's not what I'm asking. How many of you watching in the comments do truly believe that Nick Bosa might not be a Niner? Let me see in the comments. How many do you guys believe, honestly, based on our track record with free agents, that Nick Bosa will not be a Niner? I'm curious to know. Oh, I appreciate that, Melissa. You coming in here makes me always smile. What's up, Crazy Juice, the brother from the other Vato over there in the blue and gray or silver? I was upset. No, Jason Poe and Brunskill was getting the center snaps, but it was an improvement when Brindo stayed healthy, and I hated it when we cycled centers. That's in 2020. Yeah. The fact that we have a permanent center now, based on what we saw on 2020, doesn't that feel good? So I asked the question, and Melissa says, no, Nick Bosa is staying. The reason why I asked that question is this very simple reason. When George Kittle was up for a contract, did we lose George Kittle? Did we lose him? Or is he still a Niner? He's still a 49er, right? So we did not lose George Kittle. The Niners signed him. When Fred Warner was up for a contract renewal, did we lose Fred Warner? No, we didn't. We signed him. Do you see where I'm going with this? There is a track record stating that the San Francisco 49ers, Jed York, John Lynch, and Kyle Shanahan, they reward those players they covet. They did it with Kittle. They did it with Warner. They did it with Debo. Now, Debo was a little misplaced. I love Debo. I love me some Debo. But Debo was a little misplaced. He, for some reason, did not see the pattern of the 49ers signing Kittle and Warner. So he started the, I want to be traded, blah, blah, blah. And what did the Niners do? They didn't panic. They didn't buy into it. They wound up getting the deal done. And Debo is now here, right? So when I ask the question, do you think Nick Bosa will sign his contract or not? If you think he won't be here, then you haven't been watching the progress in San Francisco. Nick Bosa will sign his contract. The Niners have shown over and over again that they take care of the players they covet. They took care of Greenlaw. They took care of Warner. They took care of Samuel. They took care of Kittle. They will take care of Brandon Ayuk. And they're going to take care of Bosa. Now, the reason why I deviated to this is because we got to trust the process when it comes to the 49ers. We got to believe that Colton McKivitz is a reason they believe he can play right guard. They believe in Colton McKivitz. So if Kyle, if Foster, and John believe in him, why shouldn't we? Until I see something different, until I see otherwise, I'm going to support the decision of my team and front office. Now, with that said, if McKivitz does not plan out, I will be the first to criticize John and Kyle and Forrester for that move. That's where we are entitled. But I have to wait. And if I never get the chance to criticize them, that's a good thing. That means that Colton McKivitz worked out and he is playing phenomenal at that position. I seen some people come in here. I want to acknowledge them. My boy John V is in the house. How you doing, John? Good to see you. My boy Dion's in the house. How you doing, Dion? Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, Dion. Let's see. I'm gonna read some of the comments. I will read the comments, but I want to acknowledge those that came in while I was yapping. What's up, David Villa's in the house? What's up, David? All right, so now let me get to the comments that I might have missed. And if I missed your comment by accident, don't do what Crazy Guy did. No, I love Crazy Guy. Crazy Guy is cool. Brindle was serviceable with strong position around him. We got lucky. 4 out of 5 starting alignment were in. People started all kinds of nonsense. Yes. My prediction for the NFC next year, Cowboys go 13-4. Niners once again top the division. Panthers go 10-7, topping the South. Vikings take the number 1 seed at 4. The Vikings are not going to be 14-3. The Panthers are not going to be 10-7, my friend. I like the quarterback they got, but it's going to take a minute for that quarterback to get up to speed. He will be a Niner. They won't let him walk. Absolutely they won't, Dion. History has shown it, right? History has shown, Dion, that the Niners take care of players they covet. If they covet you, man, if they like you, if you do your job, if you put your head down, you're not causing all this crazy shit off the field. You are a perfect role model. You are a big part of your community, helping out the community, and you're playing good football. The 49ers will always reward their players they covet. History has shown it. So you're right. They will not let him walk. Not only because of what he does on the field, but because of what he doesn't do off the field. There's no negative when it comes to Bosa. Kittle says, yes, it feels good. Gonna head out, Niner family. Time to get the girls ready for bed, excuse me. I will be on the podcast tomorrow. Sounds good. We'll see you tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Good night. Tell the girls, Ariel and Jayla, that I said hello. And good night. What's up, Facebook user? Unfortunately, it doesn't identify who you are. You will have to allow Ecamm to identify you or make your way over to YouTube, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell, and it will let me know who you are so that I can properly direct you for the person that you are. Greenlaw got extended last year, 3 weeks after one of the worst defensive performance. You know what? That is a perfect example of that statement. They extended Greenlaw, not because of the bad performance, but because of what he's shown the Niners he can do. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Are they perfect? No. Do they make their mistakes? Yes. Please don't tell me you have never made a mistake at your job. Are you going to be honest with me and tell me that you are perfect? That everything you put your hands on just turns into cream and pie? You have never made a mistake. You have never made an error. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch aren't not perfect. But I like the direction they're going. I like their spunk. I like their smarts. They have done more better than bad. Okay, I understand we haven't won a Super Bowl, and that sucks. I understand you guys want a Super Bowl. I want a Super Bowl. But I'm not saying that this is enough, okay? And I'm not saying for you to settle anything less than a Super Bowl win. I'm not saying to settle for anything less than a Super Bowl win. No, that is the ultimate goal, is to make the Super Bowl and win it. I 100% agree with that. But it will be foolish of me not to recognize that we've been to 3 championship games and 1 Super Bowl appearance in the tenure of Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. And ever since they built the team from the floor up. Remember, when Jim Harbaugh came in, he had a very good roster that was not properly worked with. Mike Singletary, Mike Nolan, Chip Kelly, all those idiots did not know how to run a good oil machine. It wasn't until Harbaugh came in, took over a good oil machine and drove it properly. You can have the best NASCAR with the fastest motor, but if you put me as a driver, that car you will not get the best out of that car with me as a driver. You just wouldn't. But if you put the perfect driver with the perfect car, now we're cooking. You brought in Harbaugh, and he took over a team that was very good, and we went to the championship. We went to the Super Bowl. We fell short. But you saw the games that we won under Harbaugh. Then we lose Harbaugh. Then we go through mediocrity again, all over again. Then we hire Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. And maybe you hate Jed York, okay? Maybe you hate Jed York. You hate him. That's fine. That is fine. That is fine. You hate Jed York. But you got to admit to yourself, after that incident of letting go of Harbaugh, that he learned from his mistake. And what did Jed York do? He hired an unproven, an unknown coordinator in Kyle Shanahan. He hired an unknown general manager in John Lynch. Now, did we know who John Lynch was as a player? Yes. Did we know what John Lynch was as a broadcaster? Absolutely. But he's never been a general manager. Did we know that Kyle is a freaking guru at the offensive play calling as a coordinator? Yes. But once you have to add all that responsibility as a head coach, that's a different field. But what did Jed York do? He signed both of them to a 6-year contract. That takes balls. That takes balls. It really does. It takes guts. Hold on, guys. It takes guts to do that. And he did it. So, has Jed York make a lot of mistakes? Yes, he has. Was he a rookie when he took over? Was he young, wet behind the ears? Yes. But like every vet, he grew. Every year he grew as an owner. He got better. He learned from his mistakes. And got better. Jed York as an owner today is 100% better than he was when he first took over. Is he not? What is it that one thing that Jed York has not done since Kyle and John Lynch has been here? He hasn't interfered. He lets Kyle and John Lynch run this NASCAR. And whenever they need parts for the motor, Jed York opens up his wallet and signs an extra caliper like Javon Hargrave to make the car run better. That is what an owner is supposed to do. An owner is supposed to do that, in my opinion. Pull out the checkbook and bring in the talent and keep your mouth shut. And let the guys that you hired do their job. Yep. 100%. 100%. Luke Luna. The 49ers have not accomplished what we want. We want a Super Bowl. We want to lift up the Lombardi. And we've fallen short. Yes, we have. Is it disappointing? Absolutely. Is it hurtful? Yes. But aren't we excited this offseason to see how far we can go this year? Do you think that fans like, I'm trying to think of a bad team right now. Let's use example, the fan base of the Arizona Cardinals. Do you think the Arizona Cardinal fans have any inspiration of making the playoffs and getting a chance to win a Super Bowl? They do not. Teams like Chicago don't come in planning to win the Super Bowl. All they want to do is win games, right? But yet, as 49er fans, we come in here with high expectations. Super Bowl bust. Why? because Kyle and John Lynch has built this team the right way. And because they have built this team the right way, you and I can look and say, is this the year we win a Super Bowl? Can Cardinal fans say the same? Can they? Let's criticize when criticism is worth doing. All right, let's criticize. But let's also acknowledge the good that Jed York, John Lynch, and Kyle Shanahan have done. And let's support them. Let's support them. Criticize them when they're worth criticizing. But give them their flowers when they have earned their flowers, even if it's not the way you like it. People tell me all the time, the Niners can't draft a first-round pick. And the whole Trey Lance is a bust. By the way, he's not a bust. We don't know that yet. That's just absurd. But we drafted Nick Bosa. Did we not? We drafted Hufanga, Talanoa Hufanga in the 5th round. Did we not? We drafted Greenlaw in the 5th round. Did we not? We drafted the players tight end, George Kittle, in the 5th round. Did we not? And for people that don't like the Kinlaw pick, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but I heard a lot of people say this. I wish we would have never got rid of DeForest Buckner. Okay. I respect that. I respect that a lot. You wish you would have never got rid of DeForest Buckner. But I ask you this. Are you a fan favorite of Brandon Ayuk? Do you love Brandon Ayuk? Yes or no? Is Brandon Ayuk one of your favorite players? If you say yes, that would have never happened if it wasn't for the trade of DeForest Buckner. Because we were able to trade DeForest Buckner to the Colts gave us their number 1 pick. And because we had a high pick, we were able to trade with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 1 spot to accumulate extra picks from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in return that we used to move back up into the 1st round and draft Brandon Ayuk. But Brandon Ayuk would not be here if it wasn't for the Buckner trade. So before you say you hate the Buckner trade, but you love Brandon Ayuk, reconsider it. Now, if you say, I don't care if I like Brandon Ayuk or not, I rather kept Buckner, then that's your prerogative. And I respect that. But if you love Brandon Ayuk, understand that would not have happened if the trade for Buckner did not happen as well. And Kyle made that happen, for better or worse. Now, they drafted Kinlaw in the hopes that he would provide that same firepower that Buckner left behind. Unfortunately, it did not come to fruition because of the injuries that had piled up against Kinlaw. Now, did the Niners lick their wounds? Did the Niners feel sorry for themselves? Did the Niners say, woe is me, we messed up? No, they corrected the problem by what? Going out and getting Javon Hargrave. All right, we let go of DeForest Buckner. Kinlaw has not worked out the way we thought he would. Let's go and get the best free agent out there in Javon Hargrave, and let's fix that weakness. Now you have, in my perspective, a better player than Buckner and Hargrave. Yes, I said better, and I mean it. And you have Brandon Ayuk on this roster. Yeah, unfortunately for Kinlaw, man. I'm not saying Kinlaw was the great choice. I'm not saying that. But then the same thing two people told me, well, we should have taken Christian Wirth instead, and we would have had a right tackle set for years. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But if we wouldn't have traded with Tampa Bay, once again, we would have not have had Brandon Ayuk. You got to look at the whole picture. You can't just look at one side and say this without looking at the whole picture. Just like watching football. You can't criticize a player until you watch the film. You got to watch the all 22 film if you're going to be criticizing players. If you're just like, I'm just enjoying the game, no big deal, I'm popping a beer, hanging out with the boys or the girls, hanging out with the family, then that's fine. But if you're going to criticize players on their play on the field and you're not watching the all 22 film, you have no merit on judging them. You're going to judge a player on what you saw on game day and not break the film and see why he wasn't doing what you should have done? That is such a disservice to that player, in my personal opinion. That being said, I am praying that we can be a rotational piece. Oh, talking about, yeah, listen, John, that's a very good point you brought up. Kinlaw is not a bust. He's not. He may turn out to be because of the injuries. Let me rephrase it. Talent-wise, Kinlaw is not a bust. Maybe he becomes a bust because his inability to stay on the field. But Kinlaw is a great run stopper. Now, did he get tossed like a Brad Dahl against what's his name from the Eagles in the championship? Yes. He didn't anchor right. So to John's point, and it's a very valid point, Kinlaw doesn't have to be the guy. Kinlaw doesn't have to be the guy. He doesn't have to be that one that people depend on. They brought in Javon Hargrave. Hargrave is your every down guy. Kinlaw is going to be your rotational piece, your fresh legs. That means less amount of snaps. That means much less wear and tear on his knees. Maybe we get the best out of Kinlaw that we had in the past because he is no longer an every down D tackle. So as a starter, maybe he's not good. As a rotational piece, he might be. Good point, John. Let's have two weirdos. Seriously. Yeah, I like Danny Gray. Do you know that Ronnie Bell's dad is a coach in college and he's a coach at the receiver position? I forgot what college he's the coach at, but he is right now an active receivers coach in college. That means Ronnie Bell knows all the intricacies of the receiver position. That's why he looks so polished in minicamp. Now, That wasn't shorts and a t-shirt. We're gonna about to see it next week in pads. I'm looking forward to see what Ronnie Bell does. And I'm also curious to see what Danny Gray does. And the fact that people say that Danny Gray can only be successful if Trey Lance is the quarterback, that is ludicrous. That is so ludicrous. That is, I don't mean to disrespect none, but that is such a stupid statement. Now, could Danny Gray benefit more from Trey Lance's strong arm? Absolutely. But I don't want Danny Gray just to be a straight run receiver. Can he break? Can he do the out route? Can he do the, can he be a slot corner, slot receiver? What else can Danny Gray do other than just go down deep? I like to have that as an option, but I don't want that just to be what Danny Gray can do. A one-trick pony. And if it is Brock Purdy out there, Brock Purdy can throw the ball deep enough to utilize that speed of Danny Gray. So the fact that people say, well, if Trey Lance does not become the quarterback of this team, we just wasted a pick in Danny Gray. How disrespectful to Danny Gray is that statement? So you're saying that Danny Gray can only play the deep ball? Sometimes we say things without really realizing what we say, and we can disrespect people, can't we? Let's not forget how much everybody loved DJ Jones as well. We haven't been hurting that bad. Armstead is so important to that D-line. I am a fan of Armstead, so am I. He is so underappreciated. Eric Armstead is underappreciated D-tackle. And the haters about to find out. When DeForest Buckner was playing and we had D Ford playing his best football, we had Nick Bosa as a rookie playing great. Armstead had a career year with 10 sacks. Can Eric do that again with the addition of Hargrave and now a more polished Nick Bosa? And God forbid that Drake Jackson becomes the player that we all think he will. That right there, my friends, will automatically elevate one Eric Armstead into the monster that he really is. If you watch the tape on Eric Armstead, you can see how much force he puts in that middle. Yes, the stats doesn't say that he has sacks. I hate stats, by the way. They're not really foretelling about a player. If you give me a choice between sacks and pressures, I will take pressures over sacks any day. Give me pressures. Now, normally when you're pressuring a quarterback, you're going to get your sacks. But I've seen a lot of defenders, the quarterback runs away from Bosa and goes into Samson's way, and Samson sacks him. Was that really Samson? Or was Samson just fortunate to be at the right place to get a sack? But when you're providing pressure, that means you are bringing havoc. That means you are getting across those offensive linemen. You are pushing them back. That means the quarterback feels your presence throughout the game. Sacks is not the reason why quarterbacks hear footsteps. Pressures is why quarterbacks hear footsteps. Now, I'm all for sacks. Oh, he had this many sacks. I'm all for that. But I'd rather have pressures. Javon Hargrave had 11 sacks. All right, 11. That's not bad. but he had 66 pressures from the inside. I don't know how much you realize how hard that is to put that much pressure from the inside. 66 pressures from the inside for Mr. Hargrave. That dude is a beast. He's a beast. Exactly. We need speed, but we also need power. It's nice to have speed, but we need power. Guys, make sure to wipe your feet and smash that like button if you like anything of the content that I'm saying today. If you're enjoying the content, please reward your boy Niner Beto with a like and a thumbs up. I would appreciate that very, very much. Exactly. It's called anticipation. Brock can anticipate the player before they break out of their play and the ball's already up in the air. That is trusting and believing in your receiver. How many times did we see last year before Kittle made his break? By the time he made his break, the ball was already in the air. That's what Brock brings to the table. I'm not saying Trey can't do it. I'm not saying that Trey is not going to be a good quarterback. If Trey can do everything Brock did, Trey's the better choice because he has the extra height, because he has the extra strong arm. So automatically, if Trey does everything Brock did, then of course Trey's better because he brings those extra element of height and arm strength. But if he can do what Brock did, even though Brock is shorter and has so-called a weaker arm, but what he has in between his ears is what I like about Brock. I'm not saying Trey's not smart. Trey is very smart young man. I like what Steve Young said. I don't know how many of you guys watched the interview with Matt Miyoko and Steve Young, and Steve Young referenced Star Wars. I don't know how many of you love Star Wars. I love Star Wars. George Lucas, I love that man. That guy, by the way, is he is a native here of Modesto, California, where I'm at. But he referenced Star Wars. He mentioned the Force. Either you have the Force or you don't. And Steve Young mentioned that he feels that Brock Purdy has the Force. May the Force be with you. The things that Brock Purdy did were incredible. I mean, we get caught up, he's not tall enough. We get caught up, he doesn't have that deep arm. That we overlook the things that he was able to do. Forget about being a 7th round pick. A rookie quarterback, whether you were taken first overall or with the last pick and everywhere in between. First year quarterbacks, they struggle big time. Look at Peyton Manning. He struggled. Look at Josh Allen. He struggled. Look at Trey Lance. He struggles a little bit. He might still be one of the greats. But Brock Purdy came in and looked flawless. Now, was he perfect? No. But he looked damn good. He looked damn freaking good. Make sure I'm not missing here nothing. He looked damn good distributing that ball under pressure. He did not let the game get too big. He did not allow the pressure to get into his head. He kept everything within his perspective. He was able to read what the defense was showing. He went through his progressions. He's a quick processor. You got to process fast as a quarterback. This is why I like Brock Purdy a lot. Because of the things that I've seen him do that I haven't seen a quarterback do in this uniform since Joe Montana and Steve Young. Now, am I saying that Brock Purdy is going to be a Joe Montana? That's not what I'm saying. Don't take my words and twist them around. But I'm old school, guys. I watch the Niners. I was watching the Niners before Joe Montana was here. What I've seen in Brock is what I saw in Joe Montana. Again, I am not comparing Brock Purdy to a freaking GOAT and 4-time Super Bowl Joe Montana. I'm only stating that I saw a lot of similarities from Joe when he first came out of college of what I've seen from Brock. Now, Brock has to earn his cred. He has to go out and work and earn his cred. And maybe 20 years from now, we're talking about Brock Purdy in that same conversation as Joe Montana. I'm just strictly saying that he showed a lot of similarities from when he first came in to San Francisco that Joe Montana had. Ooh, look who it is, my brother from another mother. It is El Señor 49er Minded Bash. How you doing, sir? Great show, by the way. He had a show earlier today with Ted Talks Balls. Ted Tickles Balls. Sorry, Ted. But they sorry. They had a great show together. They were freaking amazing. Beto, stop it. Shut up, Beto. Shut up. Can I despise? Yes, you can. I mean, everybody has their cup of tea. It's all good. Some people like them, some people don't. Some people like Grant Cohn, some people don't. Some people like Lombardi, David Lombardi, some people don't. Some people like Jack Hammer, some people don't. It's all good. It's all good. That's your perspective. That's your choice. Now, you can't, what people shouldn't do is say they suck just because they don't like them. You can say you don't like, I'm not saying that's what you're saying, Melissa. I'm just talking in general. You can say someone you don't like or you don't agree with their perspective, but we can't judge, or we shouldn't judge and say they suck. And again, this is not towards Melissa. This is referencing someone else that says something similar. Instead of saying it politely like Melissa and say he just don't like the person, they went ahead and talking smack. And that's not cool. Luke,
I am your father.
Luke, I am your father. Those are for the macho guys. This is the other one on the other side of the pond.
Hi, Luke. I'm your father.
Oh, that's funny shit. You got the deep voice and you got the little voice. All right, I need to shut up before I get myself into trouble. I hope so. Luke, I've been a Warner fan, but I'm dying for a second tight end set or 2 tight end set. Sorry for misreading that. Love to have another all-around tight end besides George. I think that's going to be Willis. I like Cameron Latou out of Alabama, but this kid, Braden Willis from Oklahoma, that kid, watch out for him. That kid's going to be special. Well, listen, John, that is true. Now, that works two ways, though, John. That works two ways. Yes, after 5 games, small sample size, the Niners signed and gave him a lot of money. Now, that was before it started to go crazy with these quarterbacks, right? So let's say Jimmy, it's funny. The reason why I say it goes both ways is because right now, the Niners were stupid to give him the money after 5 games based on what Jimmy did. But if Jimmy would have been the opposite, he would have been better a player. He would have won us 2 Super Bowls. People would have been saying, wow, aren't you glad they signed him just after 5 games? 2020 hindsight is always clear, right? They saw potential in Jimmy. They locked him down. It did not pay off. It didn't. But I got to give John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan kudos for doing it. Because if it would have worked out, $127 million compared what they're giving quarterbacks today is peanuts. So did it plan out for us? No, it did not. But I got to give credit to John Lynch and Kyle for doing it and pulling the trigger. Beto, who is the bigger Purdy fan between you and Terradome? I don't like comparisons, to be honest with you, Melissa. I just can only speak for myself. I can't speak for Terradome or for anyone else. I can tell you that I'm a huge, no pun intended, I'm a huge Purdy fan because I like the underdog. Now, Trey's an underdog too, so to speak, because of all the bad breaks. So I'm rooting for him as well. But he was a 3rd overall pick in the 1st round. Brock Purdy wasn't. And what Brock Purdy was able to demonstrate within those games that he played in the regular season and winning 2 playoff games. By the way, he is tied with one Dak Prescott, who is getting huge money in Dallas, and they have that in common. Both Brock Purdy and Dak Prescott have won only 2 playoff games in their career. One is getting paid millions, one is not. One was a higher draft pick, one wasn't. Yes. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Make this fluffy dude happy. Roberto, that's the way it is. It doesn't, listen, if you like Trey and you support Trey, yes, the best case scenario would be for him, particularly to win a Super Bowl, to watch the guy you like and you covet be the reason why we have our 6th Lombardi. There's nothing like it, right? If you're a Trey Lance fan and he does it, good for you, man. There's nothing else like it. The quarterback you like won the Super Bowl, but if Brock wins it and you're not a Brock fan, maybe you're not as happy because it wasn't Trey, but don't hate Brock for winning one and not your guy. This is why you need to separate as a fan and as a team fan. Are you a fan of the Niners or of the individual player? I'm not saying you can't have your favorite players. I have my favorite players. One of my favorite players is Eric Armstead. But you don't see no tattoos that says Eric Armstead, but I do have the 49er logo. I have my favorite players, ladies and gentlemen, but I support the team first and foremost. I'm happy with Brock. I'm just saying we've seen this excitement before. No, we're right now. Where credit is due, John. Let's say, John, you are an artist, a painter, and I went to. I'm going to use Bash because he's one of my boys as an example, and Bash is also a painter. And I went to Bash for some work. And Bash did not satisfy me. I wasn't satisfied with the work that Bash did for me. But then you come along and you tell me that you do artwork yourself. Should I judge you, John, based on what the production that I got from Bash? That wouldn't be fair to you, right, John? So even though I wasn't completely satisfied with the work that Bash did for me, I'm going to give John V his own opportunity to either impress me or not. And this is what I'm doing with Brock. I'm giving him the opportunity to impress me and not tie him down with Jimmy Garoppolo. And Bash is a great painter, by the way. He doesn't paint, but if he does, he will be great at it. Or I don't even know if he does. Maybe he does do. He does do. What the hell is he does do? He does do. I'm losing my English language.
Melissa, do your feathers get tickled when we talk with the devil voice? Does it excite you? Not me, the voice.
God knows it's not me. And I should anyway. I'm your big brother. Luke Luna, smiling face. Boy, I just put a bunch of words in Melissa's mouth. I'm sorry, Melissa. I'm all answering for Melissa. Oh, shit. It's been a long day. My goodness. Sorry, Beto. Couldn't resist asking. No worries. I don't know what you asked, but no worries. Listen, Cameron Latou is a big body. He has a lot of gravity below his waist, man. This guy has some freaking thunder thighs. He's a very strong guy. And I think they're going to use him a lot for blocking. They're going to use Cameron Latou to block. I know he wasn't a great blocker in college. That was not his forte. But they want to develop him into a blocker. And if they can do that, that would give George Kittle the opportunity to be a pure receiving tight end. Especially now that Kittle's getting older, you know, they want to give him his opportunity to do his thing. So hopefully it works out for Cameron Latou. Beto, you think my boy Big Play Dre makes the top 100? Do you have anybody you want to see on it? I want to see who do I want to see? You know, I don't know if he made it. If he already made it, then I already seen it. But I'm old and I forget what I did yesterday, so forgive me if I already. But Hufanga, Town Noah Hufanga, I would love to see him in the top 100. Now I don't know if he already made it last year or not. I don't remember. If he didn't, that's who I would like to see. If he did, then my fantasy came true. Both can be true. I like Brock, but also want to see the draft capital pay dividends. And you're 100% correct, John. Now, don't do it on the expense on Brock, but I would love to see Trey Lance work out. What people see a bad problem between Trey and Brock, I see it being a great problem. I see this whole scenario being a huge and great problem to have. Let them compete. If Brock can come back early enough to compete, let them compete. The fact that they brought in Sam Darnold, even if you don't like him, even if he doesn't make the team, even if he's never good enough, but he at the very least, Sam Darnold should bring competition to Trey Lance. You would want Sam Darnold to bring competition and push Trey Lance. If you are a huge Trey Lance fan, anybody that loves Trey Lance, you would hope that Sam Darnold has one heck of a camp. Why? Because if Sam Darnold has a phenomenal camp and he could not beat out Trey, what does that say about your boy Trey? But if Sam Darnold has a terrible camp, you know what people are going to say? Well, Trey Lance, he won it by default. Brock Purdy can't play. Sam Darnold was trash. So they gave it to Trey. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that Sam Darnold had the best camp ever. And he still could not beat out Trey Lance. Does that make sense? No matter who is quarterback, I won't be any less happy with a Super Bowl win. I hope not, because I wouldn't be. Shoot, God rest her soul. If my grandma could be out there quarterbacking and win a Super Bowl, I'm like, yeah, grandma. With a different one. Some fans are different. I just want to win. Yeah, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I guess I am going to get disrespectful. Those are the fan bases that it's all about themselves. They're narcissists. They are narcissists. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody, but that reference is only if you love Trey, but you're okay if Brock wins the Super Bowl, then that's not you. I'm talking about people that say, I'd rather win a Super Bowl with Trey Lance. No. I'd rather lose a Super Bowl with Trey Lance than win one with either Brock Purdy or Sam Darnold. That, to me, is crazy. Yep. Listen, I'm just going to put it this way, Melissa. Listen very carefully, okay? So next time people tell you this shit, tell them this. My big brother, Niner Sickness, said this. If you put George Kittle in Andy Reid's system with Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball as much as he throws, and that pass-happy offense of Andy Reid, and you put Kelsey in the Niners system where he has to block, from those two perspectives, who will be the better tight end? George Kittle in Kansas City with a pass-happy coach and Andy Reid, or would it be Kelsey and a heavy run-first offense at San Francisco? Because I guarantee you, Kittle will be successful more than Kelsey in Kansas City, then Kelsey will be successful more than Kittle in San Francisco. Kittle also wasn't a great blocker or catcher coming out of Iowa because he was, remember, he went as a 5th round pick. There was a lot of things that you don't go in the 5th round when you have a lot of things you do well. Okay? You normally go in the 5th round when you do a few things good and some other areas you need to work on. One of the reasons why Kittle was able to go by a lot of teams and make it to the 5th round was because his lack in blocking. But they were able to teach him, and I believe they can do the same for one Cameron Latou. Absolutely. All right, I'm going to read a couple more comments and I'm going to call it a show. I try to stay an hour and I'm always going over an hour. I got to learn how to stay within an hour. We can't hold off stuff against Brock or something Kaepernick did or how another quarterback got injured. Exactly. Don't compare. That's why I hate comparisons. I really do. I don't like comparisons. Every person is unique. Every individual in this world is uniquely themselves. They are unique because God created them to be just the way they are. Ooh, I am rooting for Marcelino McCray Ball. I like him. I'm really looking forward to see what he can do this year. He is definitely one of my camp favorites going into this camp. I think I read that. All right, let me get all right, I think I'm to my last statement here. I think the Niners keep 3 tight ends, Kittle, Latu, Willis, and find a way to keep Ronnie Bell. Maybe they go with 4 tight ends instead of 3. The reason why I say that, I really believe the Niners like Charlie Warner as a blocker. You got to remember, Cameron Latu may be developed into a blocker eventually, but he's not going to be that blocker out of the gate. Charlie Warner is already there. And this is why I think that they don't want to get rid of Charlie Warner. Not just yet. All right, guys, that's going to be my show for today. Look for me every Monday, Thursday, and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for an hour show. And I'm going to try to learn how to become just 1 hour. Looking forward to seeing you on Saturday at 8 p.m. here on my channel. Also, tomorrow, I'm going to be live with my co-host Jess at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern on the Niners Now podcast. Come and check us out. Thank you for your love, your support, and your friendship. Until next time, I am out of here. Peace and have a wonderful, wonderful night. I'm out of here. Go Niners.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.